This week on Wilderness Systems Kayak Bassin, Chad Hoover is hosting the inaugural KayakBassFishing.com Open and Invitational tournaments in South Carolina. The action begins as over 150 anglers from 20 states converge on Santee Cooper for the KayakBassFishing.com Open Tournament. At stake is more than just the thousands in cash and prizes, but the opportunity to qualify for the KayakBassFishing.com Invitational, which brags the largest cash purse ever in a kayak fishing event.
All right, so here we are, day one. Most anglers have already headed out. It's about 15 minutes since official line's in at 7 o'clock, and anglers are already out here slinging lures in every direction. We got a whole group of anglers out here piled up in one little bay. We had a convoy of kayak-laden vehicles leaving out here this morning. Everybody's got different strategies. Some people are fishing for big bass, but what most people are doing is fishing defensively today, because here's the deal. The total doesn't carry over to day two, so all you have to do today is catch fish to be in it, because you can't win it if you're not in it. Day one, Kayak Bass Fishing Open, Santee Cooper, South Carolina. We're gonna head over to a couple of hot spots, try to catch some folks at the boat ramp, jump in the kayaks and paddle out and see if we can't catch somebody catching that fish of a lifetime. It's cold. Man, if you've got 1,700 uncrushed aluminum cans in your backyard and more than 2 bulldogs chained up, that chain has worked a big circle in the ground that looks like a moon crater from the sky, you're cooking meth.
I got up at 8. Got up at 8, you did it right.
And you've caught just as many fish as most everybody else.
I know, that's why I got up at 8.
You heading out here? Cool.
Just gonna crankbait the creek, catch something up and go back to bed.
What's getting you to pack up and leave the hatchery today?
I'm gonna find some place that are a little bit protected by the wind.
So we got the wind beating up one of the most popular spots. Some of the guys that did the best on pre-fishing are already changing game plans, loading the kayak up, heading to another spot. I know he's not gonna tell us where he's headed, so I'm not even gonna ask. Rock Lee, one of the guys to watch on the leaderboard at the end of the Kayak Bass Fishing Open. Hey man, good luck. Thanks for taking the time.
Yep.
Well, I thought I might fish a little farther up, but, you know, seeing the big girl there ease into the water, spooked a little bit. I think I'm gonna ease back the other direction.
Today was a rough day. Fighting the wind was real hard. Caught fish on spinner baits, off edges of hydrilla, some lily pads. Other than that, not much. Pretty slow.
Got a 17 and a 20-inch bass today, so if I can do that tomorrow, I'll feel good about it.
I'm just happy that I got one, and hopefully I'll make it till tomorrow.
Had a great day. Ended up with 2 good fish. Lost a great one this morning that would have blown it wide open. She's probably about 12 pounds. Played me like a violin.
All right, so I'm here with Josh Schlager. You and Stuart Venable happened to tie. So here's the deal, man. Congratulations. You're qualified to move on to the Invitational.
Beautiful.
And here's the deal. You caught some big fish today. The cool thing for me is we saw you at the boat ramp, and it was after 9 o'clock. How long did you fish today?
2 hours.
All right, so there's a lot of folks that got up at daylight and was out on the water waiting for 6:30 to paddle out, and they were casting as the second hand passed the 7 o'clock mark. Josh did it the slow and easy way. He got up, had a good breakfast, got to the ramp late, went out, found the fish, dialed it in, lost the fish, still put 2 on the board, got the biggest fish that's not already qualified for the Invitational, qualified for the Invitational, and you're back here for lunch.
Yes.
Man,
Well, I'd had to stop and get beer.
Okay, well, that's how you do it, brother. Thanks.
Stay tuned as the fishing heats up for day 2 of the KayakBassFishing.com Open. Welcome back to Wilderness Systems Kayak Bassin. This week, Chad is hosting the inaugural KayakBassFishing.com Open Tournament in Santee Cooper, South Carolina. After a tough first day of fishing, over 100 kayak anglers have set out for day 2, hoping to find some big bass and earn their spot in the upcoming KayakBassFishing.com Invitational Tournament. Having spent years fishing the Santee Cooper waters himself, Chad has learned a few tricks for finding and catching the big ones on the lake, one of which he's sharing in this week's Kayak Bass Fishing Tip, brought to you by Wilderness Systems, makers of the Tarpon, Ride, and Commander series of premium fishing kayaks.
Okay guys, I'll tell you what, come along with me and I want to show you one of my most closely guarded secrets up to this point. This is basically the berm that was used to build the hatchery, that was used to make this floodplain and to take this shallow water and turn it into a waterfowl estuary. Now, what this has done is it has created a 3-mile elevated vantage point for guys like us that fish out of kayaks. Here's what you do. You pull your kayak up to the bank. To be honest with you, I can't believe I'm even telling this secret because this is how I've caught some of the biggest bass I've ever caught in my life. And it's how I've seen some that I couldn't catch that had my heart rate pumping for 3 or 4 hours while I wore myself out trying to get them to bite and could never get them to put the lure in their mouth. So here's the deal. You walk this berm, you've got an elevated vantage point. There's super clear water in here, and out there, the grass line stops about 15 feet from the bank. All between there's a bunch of logs, stumps, and laydowns, and it's really hard, packed sand, so it's perfect spawning habitat. The other great thing about this place is that some of the bigger bass have learned to use this protected area to spawn because of the avian predator threat here. There's a lot of ospreys, there's a few eagles, hawks, and so those big smart fish who've seen their cousin get jerked off the bed by a big airborne predator have learned to use this protected area to spawn so that they're not vulnerable to that avian threat. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna head down this bank and you can find some hogs. Then what you can do is you can get in your kayak, paddle back out, and what I do is I tie a little piece of flagging or napkin or something on a tree limb that lets me know where that spot is, come around from the outside, make the cast, stay off the top of the fish. So I've beached my kayak back here 100, 150 yards. I'm gonna ease my way down this berm looking for one of those big girls that's moved shallow early. Come on, let's see if we can find one. Oh yeah. Nice! Oh, yeah. Well guys, that's a really good friend of mine. One of the toughest competitors on the KayakBassFishing.com Challenge Series trail. It's good to see him get a big fish. We're right in the middle of shooting this segment about sneaking down the berm. Brent is sneaking down that grass line and putting a pig in the boat. Here's the deal. Those fish are right off the edge, waiting to move shallow. It could bust loose at any minute. We still got big fish going all weekend. This is what you fish out of a kayak for. Nice. Brent, that is a pig.
New personal best.
We said some folks are gonna come down here and catch the biggest bass of their life, and Brent is living proof of that. Well, Brent, let's get that girl back in the water. Congrats, man.
Thanks, man.
That's awesome.
By 2 inches.
Nice, nice. Woo. Couldn't happen to a more deserving guy.
Got it on a culprit fat max worm, green pumpkin. Chad had given me some advice on these worms a couple months ago when I watched one of his Kayak Bass Fishing TV episodes, and threw it up into that bank. Got in a little tighter to shore. I heard Chad talking earlier about getting in tighter to these stumps that run along the shoreline here, and pulled it back and thought I had initially snagged a tree or something, just felt some resistance and pulled back again thinking it was still hung up, and then the line just took off dead left.
Former KayakBassFishing.com Challenge Series Angler of the Year, and now the first ever Kayak Bass Fishing Open champion, Mr. Andy Thompson. Congrats, brother. There you go, man.
Stay tuned for lots more kayak bass fishing action as 60 of the top kayak bass anglers head to VIP Adventures in search of big fish and the $5,000 cash purse that goes with it.
Stay on, baby. Stay on.
Welcome back to Wilderness Systems Kayak Bassin. This week we're in South Carolina for the first ever KayakBassFishing.com Invitational Tournament. While some of the 60 competitors on hand earned their spot through KayakBassFishing.com regional events, many spent the past few days battling for their spot through the KayakBassFishing.com Open Tournament on Santee Cooper, where a number of personal best fish were caught despite tough fishing conditions.
Nice.
Oh, yeah. Personal best.
All right, so here we are, Summerville, South Carolina, the inaugural Kayak Bass Fishing Invitational. Just over my shoulder is half the field of the 60 anglers from all over the country that have qualified to fish this event. You know what, we started out with 50. Mr. Mark Deshane said, hey, let's ratchet it up a little bit. So we've got 60 guys, including 4 guys that didn't catch a fish for 4 days in the Kayak Bass Fishing Open that still have a shot at taking home over $5,000 in cash. You know, this is a great lake to come and relax and have a good time, but I promise you, nobody fishing right now is relaxed because every one of them's thinking about that check at the end of the day.
What we're doing to get everybody's fish so we know who's fishing what, we take their initials, they put it on the cork, put it on the little clip ring, and we put it in the live tank. At the end of the day, this is how we tell who's got the big bass of the day.
Well, all the fish out in the main channel seem to be coming off the brush piles. So it's starting to get windy out there and there's a bunch of people fishing them. So I come back here and I was hitting the deep center before this cut back here. And I caught 2 and lost 1. So figured they were probably holding on to deeper water. And I cut back here, found brush piles right away in the center, and that's all she wrote.
Throwing a chatterbait along deep grass. Trailered it with a Magnum fluke. Caught it just as soon as it crossed the corner. She came out and slapped it.
Okay. Hey, we got the weigh boat on the way. Stuart's gonna hand off the 23-inch to me. I'm gonna get it back in the water. We're gonna pass it to the weigh boat. This puts him tied for lead for biggest fish so far. Ha. For all the KayakBassFishing.com challenge series and live tournaments, we use a unique catch, photo, release format. Basically, a standardized measuring device called the hog trough is used to catch, lay on the board, photograph, and release the fish. Let's head out on the water and take a look at how it works. Okay, so here's how it works. You simply take the hog trough, lay it across your lap, catch a big pig like this, rotate it around, lay it on the board, make sure the mouth is closed, push it down, lay the tail out in the natural position, take your camera, then simply snap a photo. Then release the fish back into the water, unharmed, to continue doing what it was doing before you put a hook in its mouth.
With day 1 of the Invitational reaching its end, the anglers load up and head to the weigh-in to see who will be picking up the big bass bonus and who will be moving on to the finals tomorrow.
Come on over. Yeah. All right, Drew, 7 pounds on the nose. Basser Drew with the biggest bass so far. This is Drew Gregory, man. Get him back in the lake.
Yeah, look, if you hold it, look how much smaller.
There you go, see that? See?
I hold it. Oh, it's a big fish. That's a huge fish now, everybody.
So if you want to be a pro bass fisherman, just stop growing at about 14. Well, guys, there you have it. It's the end of day one. I'll tell you what, conditions were tough with these winds, but the forecast for tomorrow is that the winds lay out late tonight. The overnight low is only supposed to be in the high 50s, low 60s. These big girls are right on the edge of moving shallow. I'll tell you what, it's gonna be fireworks tomorrow as these guys move from the juvenile lakes to the granddaddy of them all, VIP's Adventures, trophy managed lakes. You're gonna have 15 of the top anglers in the country in kayaks on 3 of the best lakes in the South. We'll be right back after this commercial break. We're gonna make you wait on it to see how this whole thing unfolds. All right, guys, we're kicking off the final round of the KayakBassFishing.com Invitational. The first guy on the board is Joe Underwood. Strangely enough, Joe has chosen to fish the cold end of the lake, meaning that the sun's rising over my shoulder. That end of the lake's getting sun first, but he's the first guy on the board. I'm gonna hang out down here for a minute and see if I can't get one.
Don't you feel it coming, honey? Don't you feel the stone? Whiskey is the boiling, yeah, times are getting told.
Donnie Miley's got a big one hooked up.
Where you jumping, girl, better watch where you dive in. You better watch for that water line or the water will turn red. Don't you feel me in your heart?
Nice 20-inch fish. It's a real good start.
Darling, I can be there. Don't tell me that you
Throw it a chatterbait, same thing I caught the big fish yesterday on. Over these lily pads right here, got it right to the edge, and she came up and got it.
All right, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put this male bass on the this lip gripper here. I just caught it off a bed. And one theory is you pull the male away and the female will come back and guard the bed because obviously she, wants to protect her young. I see her, she's on the bed actually right now.
All right, so we got Drew Gregory. He's already got 2 fish on the board. He's working to upgrade. He just caught about a 14-inch buck in his pocket back here. He's working to upgrade, has a eyes on target with a big female working shallow. All right, so it looks like the patience paid off. Several people have actually commented to me off to the side that he probably should move on. He's wasting too much time. He grinded it out, kept pitching up in there. Nice job, brother.
Woo! Oh man, thank you. Oh my God. Fortunately I was able to find a fish on bed, as you can see. This big female, it's 21.5 inches here. We're gonna let her go here in just a second and let her get back and do her thing.
I made a couple of last casts right before we head in to do the fanfare for the weigh-in, and this dude right here came up and popped it. So you know what, this place, wow, has got some chunks in it. All right, let's get this guy back in the water and find out who our first ever VIP KayakBassFishing.com Invitational champion is.
Nice fish, bud. Y'all waiting for some other ones already?
Yeah, you gotta beat 4.5. 5.12.
Yes, sir.
All right, go ahead and take the cork off.
Nice. Troy Meyerhofer, all the way from New York City. Putting up big bass again.
This is the tightest finish ever. And so, your 2013 first ever Kayak Bass Fishing Invitational champion, Tony Yang.
Oh, yeah! Woo!
Good job, man. You know what? Whether you're new to kayak fishing or you're looking to give kayak fishing a try, visit Hook One at kayakfishinggear.com for the latest in kayak fishing accessories, kayaks, and you know what? If you don't see something that you like, give us a call and we'll make sure we add it. Wow, nice fish.